basically, Baker Mayfield, I don't know if he meant to do this, but it certainly came across as, hey, it was a lot stressful times whenever Tom was in the building. I think, guys, I'm a little bit different than that. It's not as uptight, maybe, is seemingly what he said. And I don't know if he meant to take a shot at Tom. Tom kind of, I think, had to respond, obviously, because of how big of a deal it came. Andy was calling the game. He said, I thought it was stressful when you don't win a Super Bowl. And this isn't a daycare. We're here to work. It was basically kind of what he said.
Baker, it didn't get taken out of context. It's okay. You said what you had to say, and that's who you are. It's just that you don't understand. He doesn't understand the level of winning. He doesn't understand the consistent level of winning that Tom went through. I mean, I played with Tom when we won 21 football games in a row. All right, and that was a championship mixed in between. And no, we're not having fun out there because we're constantly push each other until to win the 21st, the 22nd, to win another championship, to win the next game. It doesn't matter. It's all you think about. Constant. I mean, I don't need Bill Belichick to be my friend. I'll go home, and there's my wife, and there's my kids. But that's being a professional. Yeah. It's a lot different now, though, Molly. It's a lot different, and guys now need to feel that joy. They need to feel that inclusion with the quarterback. I know it's different. But Baker will never understand until, first of all, listen, go ahead and win your first and then fail, win another one, and then get to 3. Then you'll start to understand what it takes. Where it doesn't, nothing else matters anymore except for pushing each other to win the next. And is that stressful? Yes. And it should be. And you should have a stressful environment and an environment that you have confrontation at times, because confrontation, we always believed, was good. And it breeded winning in competition.
That mentality, has he always been that way? Because a lot of people are like, well, that's the Patriot way. That's what happens whenever Belichick's your coach. And people point out about how some of your assistant coaches go to another place, and everybody talks about how it doesn't work here. That's not how this is going to go.
It wasn't taken out of context. Baker is a different type of man, to have a different type of personality, a different type of mindset, because the expectations were different. Some things can only be seen through the eyes that have cried. And so once you get to that level, once you start to win, that's all that matters. Nothing else matters. And you set aside a lot of things to make sure that winning continues. It is stressful. Winning back-to-back Super Bowls, because that's how if you want to be great, there have been a lot of teams that's won one in a row. But if you want to stand out, if you want to set yourself apart from other Super Bowl teams, go back-to-back.
You and Tom, like a perfect match for that type of culture. And why do you think, other people, I don't want to say view it as differently, but they do view it as differently than seemingly everywhere else?
The obsession of winning, you become consumed with it. You damn right. Mike Shanahan had us walking on eggshells. It was stressful because there was an expectation level, that a desire, a hunger. You yearn to win. What can I do to get better, to make sure we don't lose? How do I make sure that the guy next to me knows what he's supposed to do and carry out his assignment? Only people that have won, only people that have been ultra successful can only know, could possibly begin to fathom what I'm talking about. A lot of people, Baker didn't say anything wrong. Y'all too high strung. Those are the people that's never won anything, especially at an extremely high level. But when you play what we call professional sports, there's only 2 things that are on the menu at Club Shay Shay. That's winning and losing. And I want to win way more than I lose. And it is stressful to win.
Look, Tom could have fun and he could, pull pranks and make fun of people and be made fun of and all that. But when it was time for business, he was all business, whether that was in the meeting room, we'll walk through on the field. There was nothing more important to him than everything being done right, not just his job, but the players around him, the proper timing, the proper alignments and so forth. And anybody that played with Tom, I think would, support that. Julian, Rob, Troy Brown, you name it. So, And that's kind of the way I was. And, people say, well, we didn't have fun. Let me tell you something. Winning 6 Super Bowl championships was fun. Going to 9 Super Bowls was fun. Winning those AFC championship games, that was fun. Yeah. The fun was really the winning. And I certainly understand where Tom's coming from. Honestly, I think there's a lot more stress when you're not winning. Winning's hard. It's very hard in the National Football League. And I think you got to put a lot into it. And it's a very fine line between winning and not winning, especially when you get to the final, week or two of the season.
Some of my greatest friends in this business are champions and Hall of Famers. And what do they talk about? They talk about winning. I never forget when primetime Deion Sanders, when Isaiah Thomas, when a Michael Jordan, the list goes on, and they were giving their Hall of Fame speech. Do you know what every single one of them did? They apologized to their families. You know why? Because of the level of selfishness that they had to put forth because they were so fixated and transfixed and committed to winning, right? What's the hard part? Getting around people that you hear accept and embrace mediocrity. Nick Saban alluded to that. If you find sound bites of Nick Saban, he was talking about mediocre people don't like winners and winners don't like mediocre people. Nick Saban talked about that. So then we get to a Baker Mayfield, right? Can play. Is a pro, performed well yesterday. I think has really proven himself to be a quality player in the National Football League. What the hell do you think you're doing 7 years in this league and you would say something like that about Tom Brady? How dare you? How dare you? Because
Tom checked it.
Nobody's more successful than Brady. I don't know how anybody could question anything Tom's done. He's probably the greatest player of all time and certainly had the most success of any NFL player. So let's leave it at that. But look, winning's hard, and if you want to put a lot into winning and you're satisfied with the results of winning, then look, you had the interview with Coach Saban, right? And that was kind of the same thing. It's like, yeah, I enjoyed it the night after the national championship. I was back on the road recruiting the next day, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's sort of what it is. If you want to keep winning, you got to keep working, or the competition will catch up to you.
Tom Brady played for that team and won a championship for that team. You're on that team. You couldn't get to an NFC championship game yet. You're playing for that team. You haven't come close to accomplishing what Tom Brady accomplished. And what was his words, Teddy? What was his words, Shay? He said, some of the guys, they weren't comfortable. Who gives a damn about how they feel? You ain't win. You ain't supposed to be comfortable. So now I'm looking, if I'm the ownership, if I'm management for Tampa Bay, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, who told Baker Mayfield that? Who said that they were uncomfortable? Who said that they felt a bit tight? Who said they felt too much pressure? Because I don't know if I want them. Because I want a chip.
No.
I want championships. I don't want to hear about your comfort level.
And this is
I want to hear about that.
Yeah, it takes what it takes, I think, is always what is said there. And I don't think Baker knew that it was going to be taken the way it was taken whenever he said it. I think he was just trying to describe a different thing. And Tom handled it, obviously.
This is when you know, this is when you know that you're at a level that other people just don't understand. And probably Baker Mayfield doesn't understand. Tom understands it. Right. Shannon understands it. I understand it. When you're asked about the championships you won, what you think about immediately is how many it should have been. Right. All right, because all I think about is 96 losing to the Packers, and 2006 losing to the Colts in the AFC Championship game, and in 2007 losing to the Giants. It should have been 6. That's what I say. I don't go out and brag about the 3. I think about the other 3 that I lost.
That's right.
In terms of championship losses, divisional losses. Because if you ask Shannon, he'll be like, man, I probably should have had a couple other 2. And that's the thought process where you don't even think about winning them anymore.
Exactly.
You just think about winning the next one.
You know what it is,
what it takes to win it.
Teddy,
go ahead, Shay.
I won 3 Super Bowls. The joy of winning those 3 doesn't replace the hurt I feel for losing to Jacksonville in the divisional round of the playoffs. Winning does not feel nearly as good as losing hurts. And you tell me something about comfortable, and people say they get comfortable. Comfortable is a great place to be, but nothing grows there. I don't want to be comfortable. I want to be uncomfortable, but I want to be comfortable being uncomfortable. I want expectations. I want pressure. I want the things that comes along with the pursuit, the journey of the ultimate destiny. It's not the destination that enthralls me. It's the journey of what it takes to get there. Because I know what it takes. I know the price that you must pay to be great. There are sacrifices. And I say it all the time. People will tell you their goals, but nobody will list the sacrifices that they need in order to achieve those goals. Right. The greater the goals, the greater the sacrifice that must be met.
You should want it. It's not that complex. Teddy, here's what I want to know for you. If you were giving, both of you and Shannon, if you were giving advice to today's athlete that really wants to win, what would you tell them they need to hone in and focus on?
I'd tell them a story about what it's like to play for Bill Belichick, and I'd give them a little bit of analogy here. Okay, you know a wet towel? a wet towel, all right? And when you wring a wet towel and you keep wringing it and wringing it and wringing it to get every drop of water out of the towel, right, until it's dry, all right? That towel is you. And you're right, and those hands are wringing that towel.
Exactly.
That was Bill Belichick, getting every ounce of talent that I had my entire career until the towel was dry and I was done. You should want that.
Yeah.
You should want to be pushed so hard that I can sit here and tell you right now that I had nothing left, and I had nothing left to give. And if you can't answer the question like that, then you didn't give it all.
Exactly. I had to sit up there. I was in San Francisco the other day. I had to give a speech at YouTube, and they were talking about extending beyond professional athleticism. And they were just talking about life. Everybody's pursuing their goals. Stephen A., how do you find balance? I said balance is overrated. You can talk balance all you want to, but if you are committed to winning and you know you're not winning professionally, you're going to bring that home with you because you ain't satisfied. It's just the way that it is. Everybody has whatever their level is, but that's something inside of you. If you don't have it and you don't care, and mediocrity is something that you accept and you're complacent with it, and most importantly, you're okay with the complacency, not only are you not winning, you're making a commitment you'll never be a winner. Because guess what? You haven't, as you would say, wrung that towel till it's dry. Till it's dry. Yes. You haven't done it. That's the deal, Shannon.
Shannon, I want to ask you the same question, though, that Teddy answered. What would you say? I know you said they don't want the advice, but if people did want to hear it.
First of all, Molly, Stephen A., Teddy, a guy would have to reach out to me personally. I will not volunteer information because for the longest time, guys used to somebody was critiquing them that didn't play. That's like, I want somebody to critique my play that actually played the game. Well, when you get guys like myself, you get guys like Brewski, you get guys that have played the game at an elite level, and we still critique them, the first thing they say, oh, you hating. Stephen A., to what you said, there is no balance to greatness. Stop saying balance. And people say, well, look at such and such. They balanced after they achieved what they were searching for.
There you go.
But when you're on this quest to become great, you sacrifice a lot. You sacrifice recitals. You sacrifice parent-teacher conferences. You sacrifice a lot of things. And you're willing to do that because you understand that your destiny is to become great. And hopefully you have a partner that understands that. There is no balance to greatness. And I don't have a problem with someone says, I want to do a 9 to 5. I want to be there for my family. I want to watch. Yeah, I got no problem with that.
And
but don't hold it against me because I'm thriving and I'm searching and I'm hunting for something great. Guys, I've seen a lot of guys and I listen. It's about clicks. It's about mentions. It's about like. They're about building a brand. What is your brand? What have you won? If you win, it's easy to build a brand. If Michael Jordan wasn't winning, he couldn't build a brand. LeBron, Kobe, all these guys that have brands, they won. They won. It's really simple. You got to win. You got the desire to be great. You have to have an unquenchable thirst to be great. Guys say
and
what they want the general public to hear. They want you to believe that. But they ain't trying to be great.
And also to the brand point, how about building character rather than a brand?
So, I mean, the context point was clear, Baker. It was clear.
It's good.